I love the word even like the hard K at the end, just like, Hey guys, this is Dove Cameron, and for the past 46 days, approximately, I have been social distancing and quarantining at home, but today, I'm gonna have a chat with my friends at ELLE and let them ask me anything. Before we get started though, I wanna tell you about my new single, Remember Me. It is available on all streaming platforms. Link in my bio on Instagram, at Dove Cameron. I don't know who I am. I think it's really good. I'm a fan. Ooh, I don't know. I feel like I have so many. So Much Better from Legally Blonde. Gimme Gimme from Millie. Greenfinch and Linnetbird from Sweeney Todd. Good Morning Baltimore from Hairspray. Take Me Out Tonight from Rent. Anything from Wicked. Also not in the shower, just all the time. I think my fans would be most surprised to know I want to record like a roots leaning song. So there's a song called, of course, it never comes to you. It never comes to you when you have to think of it. Sunday will change. It's a song by Elbow, Grounds for Divorce. An unbelievable song. I would say that's like roots rock, but that kind of genre just like gets me going. It makes you just feel like, I always feel like I have a playlist on my phone called, I think it's called Peaches, but it is reminiscent for me of like long road trips through the desert, which I've only taken like 3 times, but in my mind, I live in the desert, and there's like a desert vibe with music. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's not Western, it's not country, it's like roots meets rock, but it just like feels like you would only listen to them in a desert. We're gonna create a new genre, the desert vibe. Caffeine and water? I feel like those directly oppose each other. Caffeine and little dainty jewels that make a sweatshirt look like you put effort in. Do you hear that person screaming outside? What 3 things have kept me the most occupied? I'm gonna be honest, like work / TikTok, because I feel like I just like sit down and I like knock out a bunch of videos. That's kept me pretty occupied. That's kind of like my first thing that I prioritize. And then I would say eating food. I've been making food though. I've been making some food. Thomas has been mostly making food. But I get pretty fancy with like the granola toppings in the morning. Been trying to read. I was really good at reading at first. I like knocked out a book and a half and now I'm like, I'm gonna get into it again. My phone's gonna go away. I'm gonna get all my work done, phone's gonna go away, and then I'm gonna be all about reading and writing. I actually wrote a poem the other night. I wrote a poem. Stop judging me, don't look at me. One thing I've learned about myself with social distancing that I didn't realize before is that I'm really resourceful. I feel like when you have all of the things that you need all the time and like everybody's setting you, like helping you and like there's like a system for things, you don't really have to like rely on yourself until you have to. And then you're like, oh, I can rely on myself for so much more than I thought. And also just like being creative with like, not even necessarily being like, I mean, actually I painted yesterday and I'm not that bad. I mean, it looked pretty like student, but I thought it was gonna be a disaster and it wasn't, so. 2, 1 is my mom's coffee cake, which when I was little, I thought had actual coffee in it, so I like barely ever had it because I was like, coffee is bad for your height, it's gonna stunt your growth, LOL. Happened anyway. I don't know where she got it, how she, like, I don't know how it came to be, I don't know if it's somebody else's recipe, but I've never had more incredible coffee cake than my mom's coffee cake. It's like famous in my heart. And I still don't have it, and I don't know if I really wanna have it, because I only want her to be able to make it, do you know what I mean? And then my dad used to make these unbelievable crepes. They only had like a couple ingredients in them, and I think it's from the joy of cooking. Like, I don't even think it's that. I'm looking at the joy of cooking right now. That's so weird, but I've never had better crepes. And I know that people think that like their parents or their home cooked meals are like the best thing ever, but I've tried so many crepes all over the world and they're not as good as this. And I've never attempted to make them either because I think I'll fuck it up, but those would be the two. My biggest cheerleader is probably, oh no, it's my best friend Veronica. I was gonna say it's my mom and then I was gonna say it's my boyfriend, but like nobody has anything on my best friend Veronica. She'll like wake up early to watch me do things live, like when she doesn't have to. Like she watches everything I do. She's so supportive. Every time I'll send her something, I'll be like, oh hey, look at this thing I did. She's like, I know, I watched it live. Like she's like offended that I think that she hasn't seen it. I wanted to be an actor and a singer, but I had this weird phase where I like for a long time wanted to be a lawyer, which makes sense because like a lot of my family are in law. Like my grandfather was a lawyer and he did a lot of like work on behalf of women and Planned Parenthood and things like that. Also, I think I watched Chicago when I was younger and Billy Flynn was a lawyer and I was like, I could do that. If that's what law looks like and that's what lawyers do, I could do that. I just need to learn how to tap dance. It's not that hard. I also was always a big arguer growing up. I think acting in law is not, I mean, obviously it's really different, but like it is a sort of a form of theater, like when a lawyer is in court. I also wanted to go into fashion. Not because I like loved fashion, but because I loved clothes. And I would always take like old clothes and I would sew them. I got a sewing machine. The first thing I ever bought when I was like younger and had my own money and saved up for was a Brother sewing machine. I loved creating things. I didn't like patterns, so I was never gonna be successful. But I wanted to go to FITM or RISD if I didn't make it in acting. Can we say charisma? Is charisma a quality? Intelligence is really important to me, but I've met some really not great people who are super intelligent. And even humor, I don't know, that's really hard. I feel like intelligence, humor, and like not taking yourself super seriously can all be summed up with charisma. I feel like I've never met someone who was charismatic who didn't have those things. Some charismatic people take themselves really seriously. I don't know, it's hard. I have the world's most perfect boyfriend, so him. I really want to become fluent in French, like completely fluent. My family speaks more French than I do. My sister is absolutely fluent, and I've just always wanted to do that, and I've just never been disciplined enough. I would also like to get my splits, which I've gotten really close to getting, but not fully. I want to get better at dancing. Dancing, splits, French, you know. I don't know. I feel like if you want to be known for something, then that's like all about other people's perception of you, and I don't really feel like I want to be focused on that for my own mental health. Like I feel like I want to be focused on just my own perception of myself. I don't feel like I really want to be known for anything, and if I do, then that's my ego talking, and I'm not trying to like appease it because it's wrong. Like whatever I think I want to be known for is probably not really who I am. So I guess I just want to be known for who I am authentically, and that's really hard to communicate. No and no. Definitely can go in anything. You can be like, what the hell, you, this, that, this whatever, I it off the bridge, I it, I ruined it. Like just goes in everything. It's the ultimate swear word. I love the word even like the hard K at the end, just like When it's time to indulge, which is all the time, I feel like I watch really, really rough reality TV, like 90 Day Fiancé, prime quality stuff. I love like old America's Next Top Model because you just don't get that kind of quality these days, you know, that kind of effort that they put into the editing. And I love like brownie batter. Like if I'm gonna sit and just like eat brownie batter or frosting straight from the thing, or like so many donuts and like Chinese food or Thai food, that's a night in. I've kind of been doing that every night in quarantine, and it's not going well for me. those are things you're only supposed to do like once every 2 weeks at the most. So I am reading a book called Witch by insert author here. It's really interesting. It's definitely a bit out there, but it was given to me as a gift and I was like, I'm gonna read it. And it's got some really interesting stuff in it. It's got some really interesting facts about how we got to this kind of highly misogynistic, highly sexist time in our culture, aka like all of modern history and before. But it's really interesting. It's like systemized sexism and sort of like women's power. I don't align with all of it. Like I definitely think a lot of it is really far-fetched, but it is really interesting. It's a really interesting read. I would recommend it. We're almost done with The Office again for like the 8th time. We finished Love is Blind. We finished Ozark. What are we binge watching, Tommy?
100% hotter.
100% hotter. Oh God. No, that's not binging. That's just like I always have it on. That's kind of it. We started watching Afterlife with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Season 2. We watch a lot of stand-up comedy. We also have been watching Dirty Money. All good stuff, all good recommendations. Oh, okay, exercise and self-care. I was like, exercising? Because I'm not. Allowing myself space to be whatever I am that day, I think is the number one self-care thing that you can really employ right now. Because self-care, I think as a trend, is becoming increasingly more commercialized. There's nothing wrong with these things, but it's like self-care has become very much like a turmeric drink in the morning and like a face mask and, you know, things that seem very much like surface. And I feel like the real self-care is like stuff like being brutally honest with yourself. And I have to hold myself accountable for like my inner state and what's going on with me and what I could be doing better. That for me, I feel like is the ultimate self-care. And that's hard to kind of like describe, you know what I mean? Like everybody's got their own version of that and one it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So I get it. I get why that's not as often talked about because it's harder to be like 5 steps to clearer skin. You know, it's like here's the rest of your life and the relationship you have with yourself. Like it's harder to fit that into a 60-second TikTok. So, and then of course there's things like drinking water because everybody needs it, and sleeping. Not being hard on myself, having no expectations for this time, I think is kind of like an overall blanket statement. And just giving yourself what you need. Like so many times I'm dealing with myself or I'm speaking with somebody else and, you know, we're in like a state of panic or we have like a big anxiety attack or we're just like feeling generally not at ease. And oftentimes it's like, what do you need right now? And you can kind of like find your own way of giving yourself that, even if it's like, I want to be on a beach. And we obviously can't be doing that right now. Like maybe you need to get outside, maybe you need to get fresh air, maybe you need to feel really relaxed, maybe you need to get a little sun on your face, you know, things like that. I love the word intact, like it's just gonna fall off. How do I keep my skin intact? My skin's actually thriving right now. Definitely staying out of the sun is really good for my skin. Everybody's skin's good to stay out of the sun, or at least wear sunscreen. Water as much as I can. I've started using a good vitamin C serum every other night. I think it's supposed to be good for, I mean, it's good for collagen production and things like that. But it's good for like brightening and like skin tone, like evenness. I noticed that's made a big difference in my skin. Masks, I love a good hydration mask. Sleeping in a sheet mask is like the way to go. I would say I only do that like once a week or once every 2 weeks, but like little under eye patches, just as hydrated as you can keep your skin. I get stressed out easily. People's expectations stresses me out a lot. I feel like I hold myself to a crazy degree for people's expectations. Like even if they don't have that expectation, I'm projecting that they have it. And so I'm like, how do I meet it? I'm not gonna meet it. I'm not good enough. It's never gonna be perfect. That stresses me out. I do that to myself. Deadlines stress me out. Feeling not well slept really puts me in a bad space. Like I feel like I just wake up stressed out. I mean, I have general anxiety though. So my anxiety is pretty constant. So I feel like I'm more so at a baseline of being stressed out, and then I have to find my way out of it. Trying to take care of myself and giving myself what I need. Like if I need alone time, being like, okay, I'm gonna go have alone time right now. Or if I need to listen to music, I need to listen to music right now. Or I need to get more sleep, or I need to do that. Like just treating yourself like you're like a small child, and you are also a parent of that small child, and being like, what does this child need? And then finding ways to give that to yourself. We have really complex brains, and the system is really complex, but a lot of us and how we feel, not anxiety, not mental health, none of that, like that's incredibly complex. But then a lot of some things that can set that off are like simple needs. Like you're not sleeping enough, you're not getting enough water, you're not getting out into the sun, you're not occupying yourself, you're not doing anything you feel passionate about. Those things are like human essentials, and our culture now does not support that really. Like it's not oriented around that as much as it used to be. So giving yourself those things, I feel like, is how you alleviate it. I'm not gonna tell you what production I was doing, but basically there was this like crazy stunt that I had to do that like they didn't teach me, and I was not trained in, and it wasn't on my resume, and I never said I could do it, and they were just like, why don't you just do it? And I was like, no. It was something like I had to like roll on the back of my neck. Like, you know when you do that thing where you like hold your legs up with your arms and you're mostly balancing like on your neck and your upper back? It was like that, but they wanted me to be in a tuck and roll position, and they wanted me to like roll on my neck. And my mom has always had neck issues, and I've always had neck issues, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And they were like, we really need it for the shot, like your face is in it. But there's so many times, you guys, where as actors, you have to be like, no. A lot of productions will try to get you to do stuff that is super, super dangerous. And if you just trust them and you do it every time, you'll injure yourself. And then you were the one that said yes to doing that, and then you're out. So yeah, I've definitely had to say no at work a lot for things like that. I really related to Wednesday Addams when I was younger, feeling like, you know, an outsider or darker than all the other girls, or weird. I was always called like a freak growing up. I was always kind of like a freaky girl growing up. I always felt like Veronica Sawyer from Heathers growing up as well, where like as I got older, I was kind of like peripherally a part of things, but I was still like the weird girl who liked weird boys like JD. Bad boys that turn out to be like really, really bad boys. I don't know, Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice. I mean, these are basically just all Winona Ryder characters. People never ever believe me when I say that. Like, I think because I'm blonde and like smiley and I don't wear all black. But it's not always about how you look, you guys. It's about how you feel inside. 2019 and 2020 have been years. So I guess I would say buy a lot of hand sanitizer. No, I don't want to be negative, but like brace yourself, hunker down, focus on yourself, how you feel. Stuff that I'm still trying to do now though. Like I feel like this question makes it seem like I have it all together now. Like I've come out of it, but I haven't. I'm still in it. So I feel like just, yeah, focus on yourself. You will survive it. And start therapy sooner rather than later. Is that really dark? My mom and my sister and my best friend Veronica and my friends Rob and Celinda. One big group hug. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and Elle today. Don't forget to check out my new single, Remember Me, available for streaming, download, and purchase on all platforms everywhere. I love you guys so much, and make sure you subscribe to Elle for more videos like this.